Are you feeling like a zombie lately? Tired of the same old energy drinks promising the world but delivering the jitters and a crash? Look no further than Sneak Energy, your secret weapon for all your energy needs. With all natural ingredients, Sneak will give you all the energy you need to boost through your day without feeling like a lab rat on caffeine. Don't believe us? Try it yourself and see what a difference it can make to your routine. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in the description and pick up your Sneak Starter Pack today. Now enjoy the clip. But first of all, we're going to start off with some breaking news, and it's around transfer news. Let's start off with this. So this is coming in from Plettigol. You may remember Plettigol on Twitter. Florian Plettiberg, I think his name is pronounced. German journalist, very good around the European scene. Normally we hear more about him around transfers, and certainly in the summer when Man United are looking at European targets. So Victor Osimhen is focusing on the next step. This means transfer. Man United, Man City, Chelsea and PSG are in for the Nigerian striker, and the transfer fee will be around €100 million. Now, look, I personally think it'll be around £100 million because Napoli are difficult to deal with. But I'm quite encouraged by this because ultimately Napoli are going to win Serie A at a canter. They're absolutely dominating it. Hopefully they'll win the Champions League. I'd love that to happen. I mean, I think most people, Napoli are to the Champions League what Brighton are to the Premier League. They're a team that everybody really, really likes, play football in the right way. They're an underdog. But I don't think he'll go for €100 million. I think he'll go for about £100 million, maybe £120 million. I don't think anyone's got a massive problem with that. But it's the quality of club that's interested in that draws my attention. There's two things about this that have sort of been, and we've got Romano on the show later, so we can speak to him. But ultimately, there's two things about that story that really capture my eye. One, that Osimhen wants to make the next step, and this is the second time in about 2 weeks we've heard this. Welcome to the Members Club, Manron. Don't forget to do your vote on the community tab. But it's the second time we've heard this from Osimhen's camp in the last couple of weeks, that, you know, he's focused on the next step, and the next step to him is to play in the Premier League. So all due respect to Napoli, but he's got a career path that he wants to follow. It's the same as Erling Haaland at Dortmund. It's the same as Ramos at Benfica. You know, these strikers that are doing well at clubs that are not traditionally big clubs, they want to go and test themselves. Look, if I'm playing up front for Napoli, I'm loving it. But ultimately, if I'm playing up front for Brighton, Ferguson, I'm loving it. But ultimately, I want to go and play up front for Real Madrid or Manchester United. You know, I want to go and play for big clubs, and that's obviously what Osimhen wants to do. The second thing that interests me is the fact that there's lots of clubs interested. It's not a free path to Manchester United, and if we are to start treading a new path with new ownership, then we need to start doing something we don't do. Tell me the last time Manchester United won a transfer for a player that other clubs wanted. We don't do that. And this is what I like about this deal. This is quite clearly the player that Ten Hag would like because of his age profile and his ability to develop. And also, it's a player that a lot of clubs would want. In fact, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you for being a member for 7 months. Now, don't forget that Erik Ten Hag wanted Darwin Núñez. I wanted Darwin Núñez. I think some of you wanted Darwin Núñez. I think he would have been a good player at Man United, but we didn't get him because he went to Liverpool. We wanted Erling Haaland when Solskjaer was here. He went to Dortmund and then he went to Man City. We've got to start making these deals happen. Harry Kane, and I know it says there, should Man United buy Harry Kane? Harry Kane's a top class striker. He's a world class striker. There's no point debating that. But he's a tap-in. Like, nobody else wants Harry Kane or can get Harry Kane. Is that a concern to people, or is it actually a positive? But I think the positive for United is, if we're really going to change, is to go and sign a player like Osimhen that everybody else wants. And by doing that, you show that we're different. And look, Chelsea will want him. PSG will want him. I don't know why Man City would want him, but then why not have two strikers? You know, maybe they want two strikers. I don't know. But this is exactly the sort of player that we need to be going for. And I'm encouraged by the noise that is around him because I think he's exactly what we need to bring in. And then further to this, Plettigol says, Man United are not seriously considering a transfer for Harry Kane at this stage. The total financial package would be too expensive, and Osimhen is more attractive for Manchester United. Well, look, this could just be news. It could be true. I don't know. But the reality is, I do think there's some truth in that. because Harry Kane's going to cost £100 million with 1 year left on his contract and 30 years of age. That is too much money. You know, Spurs notoriously drive a hard bargain, and so does Daniel Levy. But if we're being completely honest, a player with 1 year left on his contract who's 30 years of age should be going for about 7 million. That's what, and Harry Kane's fantastic, but it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market, isn't it? And you know, Spurs are going to push that to 100 million. Harry Kane, people don't mention this. It's his last big contract. He's probably going to want 300 grand a week. So you're going to pay 300 grand a week for Harry Kane and 100 million pounds to Spurs. It's a very expensive package for a 30-year-old striker who's got 1 year left on his deal. Osimhen might cost you a little bit more, but you get a lot more out of him. We gain a lot of respect for getting Osimhen to CGI. Yeah, look, I mean, I personally, as a fan, I don't really care about, you know, perception and what respect from other clubs. It's about winning on the pitch. But Man United care about that. Brand Manchester United care about that. New owners need to care about that. You know, I said it last night, I look at Enzo Fernandez. What a signing by Chelsea. That was fantastic. I know they spent a lot of money on him, but Enzo Fernandez left Benfica way too early. He was only there 6 months. Like, he literally signed for them last summer and he left in January. The audacious tenacity and cheek of Chelsea to sign Enzo Fernandez was remarkable. And I know they've got a scattergun approach, but that doesn't mean that some of their signings are not fantastic. And what they did there with Enzo Fernandez is, most clubs would have said, let's wait till the summer and fight it out with Real Madrid and everybody else. What Chelsea did is they go, the way to do this deal is to move in January when no one else has got any money and sign him. And that's what they did. It was aggressive, it was ruthless, and, you know, it earns a lot of respect from the rest of the football industry. You know, there's bitterness there, of course, because I would have loved Enzo Fernandez, but it's a fantastic signing. You do and can and do and are and will and can earn respect from transfers. And I think if Man United went out and bought Victor Osimhen, there'd be a lot of clubs going, that's not like Man United. That's a good signing. We've got to get out of the single race and get into the, you know, stop trying to do lap times and get in the actual race. Like Harry Kane is another lap time signing. It's a one, you know, you're the only car on the track. We need to get into the actual race with other cars and see if we can win, because that's when you earn respect. And ultimately, let's be honest, there's a bit of a message there, isn't there? If we keep signing players no one else wants, and we're not signing players everyone else wants, there's a bit of a message there. It's not always the case. Look, Bruno Fernandes was a January signing, a little bit like Enzo Fernandez. No one else had the money, we got him. Harry Kane for 80 million. Man City were apparently interested at 60, but obviously we went way overpriced. Sancho, nobody else was interested. You know, there's a few others that we bought where no one else has been interested. But look, let's start buying players other players want, because ultimately that means they're a good player, doesn't it? Hi Mark, would you take Osimhen, 120 million, Ferguson 30, 40, and Raya or Costa for another 25 if Qatar are the new owners, says Dylan. Well, we're going to talk about a goalkeeper in a minute. But I would take Osimhen, yes, Dylan. I agree that Kane is world class, says Nicholas, but the Premier League proven argument is not really valid. Look at Torres at Chelsea and Sanchez at United. He can still flop.